Welcome to today's episode of Life in Ancient Rome. I'm your host, Boozier Maximus. On today's episode, we are being joined by a special guest, none other than the Greek, Naruto Haruto. He is here to talk about ancient Roman education and what it was like. Great to have you on the show.
Thank you very much.
So how about you start us off telling us about what Roman education was like?
Children from poor families were expected to work for their living, but richer parents sent their children to school. Roman children, they started when they were around 7 years old. Yeah, we started when, like, my age, when we started pretty young. Girls and boys were taught together in primary schools, known as luduses. Sorry. They started at the ludus until they were 11 years old. That's very, very short. Girls stayed home after primary school and prepared for marriage. Isn't that interesting?
Sounds pretty sexist if you ask me.
Most primary schools had around 12 pupils, usually many more boys than girls. Girls stayed home after primary school and prepared for marriage, but some boys went to secondary school called grammaticus. Quite interesting. A servant called a pedagogus took the children to school and stayed to make sure they were working hard. Sorry. School began at dawn and lasted without a break until noon.
Wow.
I know, it's pretty interesting.
Well, Naito, if you ask me, I know I'd get super hungry if I had to wait till dawn. So, Naito, I have a question for you. What were Roman teachers like?
Well, see, they went to that old-fashioned traditional way where, they would kind of beat the children out, If they got an answer wrong, they would just be like, whip. It was not fun for those kids. I feel very bad for them. But they learned. Yes, they did. I said they'd bring it back.
Huh. Well, my next question would be, what did they learn? And what would they do in the ludus?
Pupils in the ludus learned to read and write and do simple sums. It wasn't very complicated. There wasn't many subjects. There was more sometimes geography or just straight their own history or math. And they also wrote on wax tablets using a metal pen called a stylus. Now, younger children recited the alphabet and learned proverbs. They didn't get to use the wax tablets until they were about 8 or 9, I would say. Boys in grammaticus studied Greek and Roman literature, mathematics, history, geography, music, and astronomy. Very good for them.
And one day I was getting ready for bed and I read an article. It said something about that they liked practicing the arts and public speaking.
Yes,
you mind talking about that?
Yeah, they loved to practice their public speaking and trained. They trained in athletics also, but their public speaking is very good. To write down the stuff for their public speaking, they would use thin wires of wood or papyrus.
You lost me. Let's just backtrack for a second. Did you say that they use wood to write with?
Yeah.
As paper?
Yes, papyrus, sir. Yes. Interesting, right?
Huh. Well, what was the most expensive material out there?
Probably like vellum. It was a thick layer of animal skin. See, a lot of people didn't have the money to get it. So if you had it, you're pretty wealthy.
So where did school take place? Because I come to school every day, but I don't think they have a school building. Where would they go to school?
School was usually in a room in like a teacher's house or a like rented room in a town. On the way to school, children would stop at a breakfast bar and talk with their friends. Pretty interesting. Most Roman schools had to wear traditional togas. So, like our school, there is uniforms. Pretty good. Learning in Roman schools was based on fear. Like I said, fear scares people. Boys are beaten and were beaten for the slightest offense, as a belief existed that a boy would learn correctly and accurately if he feared being caned if he got something wrong. were boys who continued to get things wrong. Some schools had a policy of having pupils head held down by two slaves while his tutor beat him with a leather whip. There were two types of schools in ancient Rome. I would say the first type was a type of school for younger children aged up to 11 or 12, where they learned to read and write and do basic mathematics. At these schools, children worked on abacus and to learn for mathematics. For writing, they used a stylus, like I've already mentioned, and a wax tablet. Other children would go to more advanced schools where they did specific studies on topics such as public speaking.
Now you're told, thank you for coming on the show. It's been a pleasure. We hope to see you soon.